the unfortunate news that the brand new Spider-Man Far From Home trailer has been delayed until December 18th, I figured the only reasonable thing to do would be to look at the Avengers 4 trailer that dropped yesterday. Hello everybody and welcome back. My name is Joker, and today we're going to be breaking down the Avengers Endgame trailer. So I've already watched the trailer. I was a little underwhelmed by it, but the more I watch it, the more I start to enjoy it. So we're going to take a look at some of the scenes from the trailer, and we're going to break down what I see and what I think is going to be happening in the scene and throughout the film. Two big disclaimers before we go any further. One, this could include spoilers from Infinity War as well as the new Endgame film coming out next year. If you have not seen Infinity War, you're waiting to see it and you don't want to be spoiled just yet, do not watch this video. And if you don't want to know anything about Endgame, also do not watch this video. And the second disclaimer is that I am mainly a DC buff, so I'm probably going to get some of this stuff wrong because I don't know everything about the Marvel Universe, so I'm just letting you know now, I don't claim to know everything, so if I get something wrong, don't be rude. Now let's take a look at what we got in this trailer. So the first scene we see here is we have half of the Iron Man helmet. It's been destroyed. Tony just got done with his fight with Thanos and he is really banged up pretty bad. He's got a nice stab wound in his side. His suit's destroyed, which makes me question how he still has the helmet. The helmet was tore completely off of his head in the fight with Thanos. We already know that the nanotech can like heal other parts of his armor if it's damaged, so we saw the armor in his arm get damaged and he took it from his leg and moved it up to his arm instead. So it is very possible that while the helmet was ripped off, he could remaster it. But with the damage it looks like it's sustained in this picture, I imagine there wasn't much of the suit left to completely make it functional. So that's the best he could do with what he had. I don't know if there's any more of the suit left or he's just using it all just to power the helmet so he can send the message to Pepper Potts that we're seeing in this scene. Now while he is stuck in space, it looks like he's stuck in the Hawk, the Falcon ship that the Guardians had in the beginning of Infinity War that you see them flying through space when they meet Thor. Now I imagine if he has the ship, I suppose rerouting home isn't as easy as it's supposed to be because obviously, you know, there are a lot of factors you have to take in the fantasy world. You know, it could be uncharted space, he doesn't know where he is, or maybe he just doesn't know how to pilot it. Even though Tony Stark is one of the smartest characters in the Marvel Universe, I guess even for this, it's just out of his range and he just doesn't know what to do. As he says in the trailer, food and water ran out 4 days ago and in the morning he's going to run out of oxygen. So who knows how long he's actually been in the ship and if he's just aimlessly flying around in hopes of trying to see if he can find his way back to Earth or at least find someone else that can help him. And here we can even see, you know, he's tired, he's defeated, he's dehydrated, he hasn't eaten anything in 4 days. He really thinks, you know, this is the end. That's why he's leaving that message for Pepper. He's like, sometimes, you know, the journey ends and there's nothing to be sad about, you know, and if I drift off, I'm going to be thinking about you. It's always going to be you. And I hope this message reaches you. It's just, you know, all that heart-wrenching stuff that you just love to hear in these movies. And, you know, because there's so much speculation going on. Is he going to survive in this movie? Is he going to end up, you know, is this his last film? Is he done after this? Is he just going to completely like kick the bucket? They're just going to kill off the character? And another thing to think about when he's looking at this scene is the fact that, you know, he says, I don't know if I'm going to be rescued or not, or if you're even going to see this message. And I think that's interesting because Pepper Potts in the comics has her own Iron Man style suit and she goes by the codename of Rescue. And since we already kind of have this sneak peek of Gwyneth Paltrow already in some kind of an iron suit that could possibly be that character Rescue, is she going to go try to look for Tony knowing that she doesn't know where he's at? Maybe she's going to try to like track him through his suit and find him and bring him home that way, or try to rescue him in some way, or maybe that's just going to play out. She's going to take up the mantle if Tony ends up not making it out of this movie, which would ultimately end up adding to the new Avengers. And you can see here from these two shots that he is in that ship that the Guardians had. I don't think it's the one that Nebula had when she met them all on Titan. I think it's the same ship that the Guardians had. I just don't think he knows exactly how to pilot it. So that's my reason to believe that this is the ship, because that's the same layout, the same way the seats are arranged. They have like the 4 in the bottom and like the 2 up top. I think that's how it goes, but I'm pretty sure that that's their ship. Now here's something that's really cool. This next shot we have in the trailer is Thanos' armor perched up kind of like a scarecrow, which we've seen before in comics. After he had done what he wanted to do with the gauntlet, he decided to like retire and become a farmer, and he used his armor as a scarecrow in like the crops he was growing. So I think it's cool that they're kind of playing toward more of the comic stuff when it comes down to like the nitpicky little scenes that you might not even see for like a minute on the screen. But another thing is that we've already seen this. This is on, I don't know exactly where he's at, if he's still on planet Earth or if he's on a different planet, but this is seen in the end of Infinity War just for a split second. You can see it as he walks out of the hut toward the end of the film. So this is already perched up, so now we're just getting a better look at it. And then along with that shot, we have Thanos walking through some of the crops, and he still has the gauntlet on his arm. Now he also still has it on in the end of Infinity War, War, which makes me wonder, like, is it too much power? He doesn't want to take it off so someone else can take it? Or is it physically bonded to his hand now? Because that's what it looks like. In the end of Infinity War, when he walks out onto the deck of his little hut and sits down, you can see him as he's walking toward the back that it looks like it's crushed around his arm. I don't think he can actually get it off, because after he used the snap, his entire arm just crumbled. So maybe the gauntlet is worthless and he can't use it properly now, but he just doesn't want to get rid of the stones. I mean, I'm pretty sure no one would want to if you had all 6 of them. Or maybe he just simply cannot remove it from his hand now because it's crushed around his arm. So maybe now it's just crushed around his arm and he just physically can't remove it and he's just stuck like that. And this is one of those haunting images, as I like to call them, is that, you know, you see the Avengers headquarters, it's still all there, everything looks fine, but you don't see anyone around. And sure, besides the actual Avengers, I don't know how many people are actually working in the buildings there, but with 50% of the population gone and like a very small amount of the Avengers that are left, there's literally like no one in this scene, and it's just kind of creepy. It's kind of like, you know, those abandoned asylums you see. It's very ghost-like because there's just nothing there. And then we get to take a look at the new clean Steve Rogers, clean shaved. He's got his haircut. However, he is absolutely traumatized. You can see some tears rolling down his face because he knows, you know, they lost. They didn't win. Thanos is gone. They don't know what they're going to do. Can they bring everyone back, or are they stuck with what happened? Are the ones that are gone after the snap, are they completely gone? What is happening? He's unsure of himself. He doesn't know. You know, he's the symbol of hope for a lot of people, and now he's stuck in a position where he doesn't know what to do to make it right. And then we end up looking at Bruce Banner, who's looking at all of the people that have gone missing from the snap. Now, a thing about this shot exactly is that we have Scott Lang, who is, we all know, Ant-Man, who ended up getting stuck in the quantum realm in the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp because his entire family got wiped out by that snap. But we also see the Black Panther's sister Shuri there. Now, I don't think we saw her get turned to ash on screen. If it did, it was probably an off-screen thing. I don't remember seeing it. And, you know, they have nothing on Scott Lang because he just went missing. Because I'm pretty sure after Civil War, he was put on house arrest. And then sure, he had his 2 films. But after getting stuck in the quantum realm, they had no way of contacting him. Now, later in the scene, I don't have the image, but the picture of Shuri changes into Tom Holland's Peter Parker, who we all know wasn't feeling so good on Titan, and he kind of booked out early. It's unfortunate, but, you know. Now, this one here is a really important image. This is one of the big images that had an impact on me when I was watching this trailer. Is because Thor was meant to be like, his character played out to be like the symbol of hope in this movie. He was going to be the one that was going to save the day and make everything right because he got Stormbreaker, so it was, as he put it, the Thanos killing kind of weapon. And he was able to use it, but as Thanos said, you should have gone for the head. So he got him right in the chest, and then the snap occurred, and then that's what happened. So I think this movie's kind of play the same way that it did for the Hulk in Infinity War, where the Hulk was afraid of Thanos and he didn't want to come out, so he left Bruce Banner to fight by himself in the Hulkbuster. Whereas in this film, it's going to be a lot of Thor, like, just thinking to himself, you know, I could have been faster, I could have done what he said and aimed for the head instead of going for the chest or something like that. I have a feeling he's going to have a lot of blame on his name. He's going to be blaming himself for what happened. He's going to be like, it's all my fault, you know, I should have stopped him, but I didn't. And I think that's going to really just tear his character apart throughout this movie. I don't know why, but it just feels like that's something they're going to take, because, you know, the title of the movie is Endgame. I really think that it's just going to be a dark, depressing movie, and there's not going to be a whole lot of hope. There's probably going to be something, but as of right now, it just looks like, you know, there's nothing else he can do. He cannot make this right because what has already happened has happened. Now, this is a shot that kind of confuses me a little bit. We see Nebula supposedly in the same ship that Tony Stark's in, and if she's there, I assume she would know how to fly it and she would know how to navigate through space, considering she's been around Gamora and the rest of the Guardians already. I don't know exactly what her expertise are. I'm not, like I said, I'm not the biggest buff on Marvel characters in the Marvel films, but I figured if she knew how to fly it, she'd be able to get them back to civilization or Earth or somewhere that, you know, they can get some kind of help, because Tony still needs medical attention. He hasn't eaten in 4 days. He still has the wound in his side that he kind of cauterized himself by, like, freezing it, but he's still very injured and he's very weak and he's in no condition to do just about anything. So if Nebula's there, I wonder what she's doing to help him, if anything at all. Now, here's an image that got a lot of fans happy because we haven't seen him in a while, and when he takes off the hood, we see it's Clint Barton. So yes, Hawkeye is finally back in the Avengers series. However, he's not exactly Hawkeye. He's taken on the second persona known as Ronin. And as far as I know from the comic, apparently he was supposed to have died, and then he comes back and takes on the persona of Rona and leaves Hawkeye behind. Or at least that's how he rejoins the new Avengers, and he just leaves behind Hawkeye, becomes Ronin, and uses a sword instead of a bow and arrow. I think it's great. I don't know if this is supposed to be like an alternate timeline. I don't know if that's even going to happen in the movie at all. But in this case, we see him fighting off bad guys, and he's back, and he's also not under house arrest, so that's great. For any of you that watch Collider Video and you're familiar with John Roca, he made the comment, and I kind of agree with it. I think in this universe, he's going to become Ronin after the snap happens, because maybe it wiped out his whole family, you know, maybe that's all that was taken from him. And since he was still under house arrest, or at least you can assume he was, but instead of letting himself being known to the public as Hawkeye, you know, going around with the Avengers and trying to do what he's supposed to be doing, instead he takes on the persona of Ronin, so that way he can stay under the radar from like cops and like any legal service like that, so he can continue being an Avenger under a different name. And I think that's going to be really awesome when it plays out into the rest of the movie. And here we finally get to see the title of the movie as Avengers Endgame, which is perfect because apparently this comes up a lot throughout the movies. The only one I can really remember off the top of my head is in the end of Infinity War, after Doctor Strange gives the time stone to Thanos and Tony says, "Why did you do that?" And he's like, "Why did you give them the stone? You know it wasn't supposed to happen." And he just says, "We're in the end game now." And that's, I mean, it just fits perfectly. He's like, okay, well, that means I guess Endgame is going to be the end of this, because, you know, you still have Thanos to deal with. We don't know exactly if he's going to end up being the villain, but he's still involved somehow. And at the end of the movie, it says Thanos will return. So obviously we have to, you can't just leave it at that. You can't just snap your fingers, destroy half the universe, and then just let it go to nothing. We have to have this end in some way, so I think Endgame is a very fitting title for what the movie is going to bring, especially when after this it's going to be starting Phase 4. But then the end of the trailer comes as a little bit of a surprise as we get a security message in the Avengers headquarters, and it turns out Scott Lang is back and he's at the front door and he's wanting in. During the scene of the trailer, you have Captain America asking Black Widow, like, "Is this an old recording?" And she says, "No, that's the front door." And he's like, "Hey, can you buzz me in?" So now we have Scott Lang, somehow he's gotten out of the quantum realm, but he comes out to find that Hope, Janet, and Hank are completely gone. And after obviously no attempts of finding them, the only thing he can do is realize, you know, hey, I'm kind of an Avenger, sort of, not really, but I need to go get some help. So he ends up ending up, I think he's going to get a better role in this movie. He's actually going to become an official Avenger now, so that's pretty awesome. And that's pretty much how that entire trailer played out. We don't know much else besides the fact that the movie comes out April 26th of 2019. Between this movie, Captain Marvel, and the new Spider-Man movie coming out in, I think, June or July, it's just going to be a packed year for Marvel films, and I'm so excited to see what they're going to start bringing out with the new Phase 4. And I am very pleased with this trailer. So that right there is my breakdown of the Avengers Endgame trailer that just dropped. A lot of good things, a lot of promising things, a lot of upsetting things. I'm really excited to see the film, and I'm really excited to see all of the stuff that I was able to pick up while watching this trailer. Now, it is very possible that there are some things in this trailer that I may have missed, so if there's something in this trailer that I did not discuss that you had noticed, please leave a comment down below and let me know about it, because I want to know everything I can about this trailer so I can understand what I'm looking forward to when going into this movie in April. But that'll be all for this video, guys. Remember, if you like what you saw, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know in the comments down below if you would like to see more trailer reactions or trailer breakdowns, or if you'd like to see anything else. But until then, and as always, I will see you guys next time.